Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro Power Rangers Lightning Collection Zord Ascension Project ZAP DINO MEGAZORD, the Mighty Morphin. This says MZ0101. I'm not sure how that numbering system is going to work out. Power Rangers Lightning Collection. Plastic-free packaging, which is shit on this. It's actually pretty cool. Hasbro logo there, down there at the corner. It says 15+. So this is collector grade, so all kinds of crazy stuff. Looking up at the top. Whoa, let me turn that light on. So here we got the ZAP logo, MZ0101. On the side, we get this awesome artwork of the DINO MEGAZORD, looking really cool. The back of the package, we get a look at those little mini Ranger figures, the whole Megazord combined tank mode, the individual Zords, and on this side, we actually get a look at the individual Zords. So I've watched a couple of I watched one full review, and I've seen a lot of talk about this, people saying it feels cheap and not worth the price that it is. So it retails for what, $165.99? We shall see. I hope it's not bad. I mean, $166, that's a lot of damn money for this. I have the soul of Shogokin, the SOC DINO MEGAZORD, and I like that one. It's freaking awesome. The diecast, it's beautiful, but it's flimsy as shit. Like, it's god damn. But I will do a comparison with this Megazord, that Megazord, and the cheap basic Megazord that Hasbro released in 2020. So, fun stuff. The packaging looks really awesome. This is just a slipcover, though. We're going to slip the cover off of it, and I want to be careful not to destroy the slipcover. So there is the big thick ass box of the DINO MEGAZORD. QR code here. I actually haven't scanned it. I don't know where it goes, but it probably just goes to a ZAP Zord Ascension Project website. And then there is the nice back of the box there. It's all like cool red looking, blends in with the background. Really like the way that looks. But we are going to lay this down and we're going to open this up. We're going to, because it doesn't want to open so easily. There we go. So I got that cover off. Let me put that safely down there. And then here on the inside, we have this awesome look. So we have the different power coins, Tyrannosaurus Rex, and this actually lines up with where each one of the Zords are. How about that? Not bad. So we can just kind of pull out this cardboard little cover there. And there. This has been a big complaint. They're just sitting in there. They're not like, there's no real like support system for them in there. They're just kind of sitting there, and they're in bags. Looks like we have a little bit of an accessory bag here on the very side. Oh, that is the sword. Looking very good. Looks like I got some scuffs on there. I'm not sure what's going on there. That's not so bad. Okay, put that there. We'll remove this slip cover here. And here we have our other Zords. And again, they're just sitting in there. Like this one's just a baggie. This one is accessories. Here is the pterodactyl. And these are pretty light in weight. Here is the mastodon. That actually has a little bit of weight to it. And then that is the triceratops. And then saber-toothed tiger. So they're light, but not like super light, if that makes sense. But they're all put in these baggies. The baggies have... Is it the Z of the ZAP on the design? But like here is the Tyrannosaurus. And does it feel cheap? Yeah, a little bit. It doesn't, like, I don't think, it doesn't feel brittle, if that makes sense. But yes, it feels hollow. And guess what? It is hollow. Look at all those hollow pieces. Part of that's going to be because things need to fold together and whatnot. So, it doesn't look... It's not terrible by any means. Oop. Right, this is Tyrannosaurus, so he should look kind of like that, right? Yeah, I'm going to have to just kind of really play around with these Zords to see, how each one of them look, but... Take them out of the bags. Oh, saber-toothed tiger looks huge. And I think that goes along with a lot of people saying that the legs are too long on this Megazord. That's because the saber-toothed tiger is like massive. Like if I compare this to the SOC, the Tamashii Bandai one, I'm sure there'll be a huge size difference between the two, because man, this is a lot bigger than I would have thought. And again, it feels cheap, because it's all hollow. Like I don't know that there was any other way to do that because it's hollow, like heavier plastic. I don't know that really makes any sense. But looking at the paint apps so far, so good. No issues on mine. All looks pretty good. Go through, and these are all my like live reactions for you guys. I have not opened these prior to. Here is the Triceratops. That looks pretty good. A little bit of scuff on the front there. These kind of open up, right? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to break it. Ooh. Oh. Gotta be careful. Oh, there we go. You just gotta kind of have to pull it out together. So it widens a little bit, and you can see the treads for the tank, the tail, like so. And again, this Triceratops looks quite large as well compared to like the SOC version. So we'll put that over there. We'll get the Mastodon out of the bag, and look at that, the bag even ripped with its feet already coming out. So I don't know that I could really reuse some of these bags if I ever really wanted to put it back into the box, which I don't know that I do. Here's the Mastodon. Mastodon looks pretty good. No complaints there. We got some cardboard in there. Yeah, Mastodon looks pretty good. No complaints with the Mastodon at all. He's actually got a little bit of heftiness and some weight to him, so that works out pretty well. Here is the Pterodactyl, which I hear probably the most complaints on, and the Pterodactyl gets the biggest bag for the smallest Zord. And so it's already like folded into place for the chest piece. The design I know of the chest piece of this diamond plated look, or hexagonal plated look. Yeah, those are hexagons on there, not circles like I had thought. I don't know why they just used some creative freedom. I guess they said something about concept art or something. So I guess, you know, that's the inspiration there. The wings to come out. The pterodactyl head there. Oh yeah, that's like it holds there, but then it won't hold anywhere in between. So there or down. There's no in between. I was hoping that wouldn't be the case, but that works. Yeah, that's okay. But I guess if you do it like that, that's kind of how it's supposed to look anyway, right? That looks pretty good. And then the other baggie, the last baggie, is the one that has the accessories in it, which this bag doesn't want to open. So we get the extra hands for the DINO MEGAZORD. We get these extra blast cannons there. And then we have all of the little rangers. So a little yellow ranger, a little blue ranger, a little red ranger, a little black ranger, and a little pink ranger. So they're all the pieces. Now let's get that all placed together. Eight and a half minutes just to get it all unboxed, which is pretty crazy. But again, this is all live reaction. First time taking it out of the box. First time seeing. So far, I'm not super impressed, but I'm not disappointed like it seems most people have been. But anyway, let's kind of clear this all up and make space and take a look at these Zords. Okay, and I didn't talk about this, but this is some inner artwork of this inner top box, and that looks really cool. It's just kind of glued in there, but I love the way that looks. I am not looking forward to taking apart my SOC Megazord so I can compare the Zords. I'm not looking forward to it. But I gotta do it, because this one just takes so many steps to transform. Here we go. Okay, Zords everywhere. Let's get it all separated out. Okay, so here are all the Megazords. There's only so much space. But anyway, there is a instruction booklet sheet, foldable thing, so you can kind of see, you know, how to do how to combine it. Oh my god, look at all these instructions on how to combine it. I'm gonna have to read through this. I don't want to break anything. You know, some of it can be fragile. You always really want to be careful with any collector grade figure. So I will go through this and take a look at it. One thing that I want to point out is each one of the Zords do open up to reveal a ranger in the cockpit, which is kind of cool. So looking at all the Zords, we'll take a look at them individually compared to the SOC as well as the basic Hasbro Megazord version. and then we'll kind of see how it combines. I'll try my best to do it on camera, but it may end up being a little too long. But I will do individual comparisons with the Zord, so you can see kind of which is going to be the better option for you. If cost is going to be a big factor, this one's probably going to be the way to go, because the SOC version is hundreds and hundreds of dollars, whereas this one is $166 and likely be able to find it on sale at some point in the fairly near future, I would say. But we will look at these. Just kind of first impression, seeing the Zords side by side, I feel like the Sabertooth is huge and the Triceratops is tiny. But then Mastodon, like next to Triceratops, looks about right. Pterodactyl looks about right. I think with everything, Sabertooth Tiger just seems so much larger than it should be, in my opinion. But I'd have to go back to see, you know, how it should look compared to the other Zords, if it should be this much bigger, because I mean, it's a huge difference. It's pretty crazy. But anyway, we will start off with the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Okay, so starting the process of the tank mode and then into the Megazord. So here is the Mastodon as it kind of comes around, and that actually wasn't so bad at all. These leg covers here, the SOC has foldable ones. These you just pop off, and then you can actually use them as kind of going to be at the bottom of the feet to kind of, I think, help stabilize the Megazord. So that'll be pretty interesting. But step 1 through 6, all done. That was pretty easy. Here we go. Pterodactyl steps are pretty easy. Oh, maybe not so easy. You got to get the head to look all the way down so you can fold those wings all the way down. I knew that. Duh. Okay, so the Tyrannosaurus Rex has a few more steps. So we're going to open up the shin there, and then we're going to slide this red piece up, and then we're going to get this peg to come out. We're going to get this peg to come out. We're not going to get the peg to come out. I got to figure that out. Hold on. Okay, so round 2, it's tricky. You just have to, like, I can't do it now. You just have to, like, get in there and use, like, an insane amount of force to pull that peg out. So I got the one, but now this one's giving me some problem. Okay, so you see that ridge in there? I just, you know, had to put my finger in there to pull it out. I moved it a little bit. Now I'm able to kind of get my finger underneath it, and then I can move that into place and close that back up. But man, that was a mega pain in the ass to do. Whew. Okay, so for the tank mode, I have it coming along. Blue and yellow are pretty easy to kind of piece together to do that, and then they just port right on in at those knee pegs. And there we have it. The thing about it so far is, because of the size of the Triceratops and the Sabertooth Tiger, it just looks off. These things are so long, it just looks really weird from this standpoint, but still got a few more steps to go. Hey, coming along, almost there, almost there. There it is. There is the tank mode, and this thing is pretty cool. I will admit, having it all complete and together, he does kind of look badass. But, and I don't know if this is just kind of the design or how it was, the shoulders I had to kind of really put up high to keep them straight out, because that, remember that ab crunch in the Tyrannosaurus? Like, if you wanted him kind of straight up, it does not support the weight and it droops down. The good thing is these shoulders will hold in place, so that won't be like an issue at all. So you can have, you know, these arms essentially kind of straight out, ready, you know, to fire at whoever the monster of the week is, kind of thing. But yeah, the tank mode does look actually really cool. Now, the pterodactyl, it does, like, the way it hooks on there, there's just kind of like these pegs with these little slits at the feet of the mastodon in there, as you could see, and then these little clips here, they just port into there. They don't hold really well, so that's, you know, a pain in the ass there. But you just, I think, oh, you know what? It's because you have to, wait, hold on. I didn't even get this one in all the way, but hold on. Here we go. Okay, so it's not nearly as bad as I would have thought. You have to force it in there, and the groove of it helps get it to stand up a little bit more straight. So no, that actually really works. But there is the tank mode, and that is actually really cool. Let's get around for like different angles here. Yeah, so coming around, yeah, that, come on, that looks good. These things are still, I feel, way too long. But yeah, that's really good. And then like the Mastodon head shield, there's a little clip in there. It holds on there nicely. It's a little tricky on how to do it. You just have to kind of have it like put in there and then force it down in there and it'll just drape down. But yeah, that really works. But yeah, the tank mode looks pretty damn awesome. You guys let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. I'll try to keep this as steady as I can. But yeah, looking at the tank mode, I think it looks really, really good. I really like the way it came out. That is actually pretty damn awesome. So with the 3 different Megazords I have, I might leave one in a tank mode, and then one in the Megazord mode, and then one with the Zords by themselves. We'll see. I might just do that. Okay, so now the process will begin to convert the tank mode into the Megazord. So there are additional steps. There are 23 steps to get it from this tank mode here all the way to this Megazord here. So 23 different steps. Wow. So I'm going to go through it step by step, and I'll kind of throw in some clips showing a little bit of the progress. But hopefully it's not too much. We'll see. Each step is little changes, like removing the Mastodon head, moving the blasters to the back, getting the hands out of the Megazord, folding in the tail. Easy stuff to follow along to. So this next step is pretty familiar from the show, right? So we got the feet up, and we're going to stand up the Megazord like so. Damn, he's tall. Holy moly, he's tall. So we're there onto that point. And remember what I was telling you about with these clips, these are going to go at the bottom of the feet. So instead of the Mastodon parts folding in like the SOC, they just pop out. And what we do here is these are going to kind of act like a balancing thing to kind of level out the bottom of the foot. How does this clip it? Well, I got to see how it actually secures in there. But that's, let's see. Actually, on this one, just pop it on there. Am I doing it wrong? Oh yeah, there, look at that. I'm doing it wrong. That would explain it. So there's actually, I see the little peg holes in there for these to kind of clip in, and boom. So that acts as a stabling agent for the foot. Go from there. So we're a little flimsy and a little wobbly. Hopefully we can kind of get that figured out with this Megazord to where that doesn't happen, but his legs now are pretty flat on the ground at least. Another step is just moving these arms down. This should be a fun one. So we're gonna open up that chest plate there. We're gonna fold down that Tyrannosaurus head like so. We're gonna close that up. We're gonna bring around these horns to the Megazord, and those don't fit on to his face nicely at all. Ooh, man, that's terrible looking. Let me get in for a closer shot of that. Okay, so it just does not sit flush with the face. Like, why is that? Is there something in the way? Oh, I don't like that. See, look, see the gap there? It's a much bigger gap on the left cheek than the right cheek. Why? That's so bad looking. Oh, that's aggravating. But looking at the eyes, it looks like we actually have yellow translucent plastic in there for the eyes and not actually paint. Or is it just me? Yeah, it actually looks like yellow translucent plastic there for the eyes. Wanted to check this out. So you can actually pop open or pop off that faceplate there, and that might be the issue why those horn side cheek pieces weren't, sitting flush. And then here we actually get like a little print in there of all the Rangers sitting together in the cockpit to control the Megazord. I will never ever display or show this, but it's a nice little added touch, I guess. It's just cool visually to look at and say, oh, hey, that's where the Rangers are, but super unnecessary in my opinion. Yeah, I just cannot get this more flush to the side, and that irritates me. If it didn't need this removable faceplate, I bet that wouldn't even be an issue, but yeah, that really bothers me. Okay, the final detail is going to be adding in this chest plate here. So you can see there's little slots there. Got the pegs on either side. I hear this does not hold very secure. We shall see now how it holds. And boom, chest plate is on there. I don't feel like it's going to fall off at all. I mean, the issue is because of, ooh, it gets caught on the wings. Because the wings don't go any farther down there, and then these arms, because you don't actually get an articulated elbow, it's kind of rubbery at the elbow, but because these don't get a little bit more flush with the chest, that's the reason why it'll be difficult on some of these Megazords for this chest plate to really stay on there. But I really have no issues with mine. But yeah, so there is the top half of the Megazord, looking bulky as hell with his head super far back, which is kind of weird. But looking at articulation, we got some nice ball joint there, so it can look in all sorts of different directions. Up, a little bit up if you wanted to, down where he's only going to look at his chest. And you actually get a swivel and everything, so it's good articulation there. These shoulders, you can actually get the shoulders to go out. You can do a full rotation in there. Oh, see, look at that. The chest plate popped off, and again, it's because this just doesn't get a nice flush to the body. Like, why did they do that? So if you look, I mean, it's really forcing itself in there. That's definitely a problem. Definitely a problem. There is a bicep swivel on the Megazord. You get an elbow that bends full 90 degrees, so that is solid there. Wrists swivel, and again, we get interchangeable hands, so you can actually pop that off. It's just on a ball joint there. And then we have these open hands, and then you just pop them right onto those pegs. Easier said than done. Holy crap. Ooh, that was a pain in the ass. But you can get it on there, and you have the hand getting ready for slap, I guess. Yeah, there is a swivel for the Megazord. I know some people had issues when you swivel and it hits that tail portion. I don't really have so much an issue there. Oh, I guess I didn't have it flushed all the way, but it doesn't really do anything. You just kind of push it back down a little bit. No big deal there, but yeah, get that swivel. Damn, okay, that's the problem. When you start moving it around, then the chest plate isn't going to want to stay in place. It's because of these damn arms. Why did they make them to where you don't have a bend? Oh, wait. Oh, look at that. They actually do have a articulation at that elbow. All right. Nice. Okay. So these were kind of like frozen in place a little bit. See, I feel like this one does not want to go, and it feels very stuck in place. But see, now I can get this one a lot more flush. See how that one sticks out? So that's, so I'm gonna have to work on that. I don't know how I'm gonna do that, but that's why this is gonna keep falling off for you guys. So I'm gonna try and figure out some stuff. Hopefully we can get that sit on there a little bit more flush. Okay, I got it. Look at that. It's a lot more flush to the chest now. So when we put the pterodactyl Zord on there, it doesn't feel like I'm forcing it into place nearly as much as it did before. So thank goodness for that. It looks like we have our fix. Now, that's not to say that it won't ever fall off again. I'm sure it will, but that's definitely what one of the major issues there was. Looking at the Megazordless shoulders, this is one design choice that Hasbro went with, and it's a little bit odd because the colors are going to clash, but they did a translucent plastic here for the red and yellow, which then clashed with the paint of the red and yellow. It's cool, I guess, in theory, but because it doesn't match, it does look a little bit weird, but it helps get it to stand out a little bit, if that makes sense. It's just one of those weird things. It's like, well, why did they feel they needed to do that? Because they shouldn't have had to do it. Like, it wouldn't have been a problem at all. But yeah, there is the Megazord. So let's see if I can get it all the way in frame for you guys to see. Oh, and before I forget, we have a little bit of ab crunch, so you can lean forward a little bit. Not really back, but you can come forward a little bit. Oh, see, don't put your hand on the pterodactyl chest piece. but it's hard when you want to do that ab crunch. So that's why that moves, because you can do the ab and that'll move with it. Not bad. Okay, so here is the Megazord and the tiny Zords down here, and he looks pretty good together. He is super tall. He is way taller than I thought he would be. So if we compare him to like the other one that Hasbro did, this is super basic. It was like 45, 50 bucks to put together. So it's not even really a fair comparison between the two, because you have a collector grade and then again a real basic kids toy version that holds up. Don't get me wrong here. This thing is pretty badass given the price. People were like, "Oh, it's way too expensive for what it is." Not, in my opinion, not really. I think it was actually a pretty good price set. Now looking at it, when you have something that's 166 bucks versus something that was like 48 bucks to put together, or whatever the price may have been. But this thing is really cool. Lots of cool details. The colors of the Zords are a lot better versus like these like basic dull looking ones. Over here on the side we get some silver instead of gray. All in all, it is a pretty good Megazord. I don't have the Legacy one. I've never really handled the Legacy one to know how this compares to that one, which would be more of a similar. Whereas I think the SOC Soul of Chogokin, whatever, however you say it, is in a whole other league in itself. Like, I don't think it's going to be a fair comparison kind of thing. And I know a lot of people are immediately going to say, well, how does it compare to SOC? Well, I don't think that's fair, because SOC retail was, I think, double this, right? I don't even know, because I didn't even get it when it was new. It was all aftermarket by the time I even got it. But this is pretty cool still for what it is. Ooh, see, you got to be careful. Even that chest plate's still going to pop off. But easily fixable there. But yeah, I mean, still looks really cool in my opinion. In terms of the articulation, his leg, you know, you can get the leg to go out, so that is cool. You can go to the side a little bit, and then you do get a bend at the knee. So the articulation on this Megazord is really, really nice. But let's throw in the SOC version to see how all three look together. Okay, so here are the three Megazords side by side. As you can see, the Soul of Chogokin SOC is taller than the Hasbro Basic, but way shorter than the new ZAP Zord Ascension Project Megazord. Now, obviously, the best Megazord is going to be the SOC. Hands down, there's no way anyone's really going to be able to beat that, in my opinion, unless Hasbro were to do something crazy like a HasLab DINO Megazord, which at this point I think would not be the way to go for Hasbro. But the ZAP Megazord is really good. If price is going to be a factor in the Megazord that you're going to get, if you're good with paying the 166 bucks for the ZAP one, I think you'll be happy, satisfied. If you can get it on sale, even better. The basic one, though, I mean, sure, it's super basic, not collector grade in any way, but it's still pretty damn cool for what it is. But here in this video for the ZAP, the Zord Ascension Project Megazord, it is cool. It's not, I'm not blown away by it. I'm not as disappointed with it as I think some of the others have been. I'm actually pretty overall satisfied with it. Because the thing about it is when we look at price, like the Soul of the SOC is just, it's so like flimsy. I'm scared, you know, with how much it costs. I'm scared of it falling down. And in fact, I dropped it one time because I was holding on to the legs and it just was so top heavy it flopped over and kind of fell apart a little bit. Luckily, nothing broke. This Hasbro Zord Ascension Project, like, I'm not scared of it falling apart or anything like that. It's not real wobbly, so I'm not worried, you know, based off of the money that I spent on it, 166 bucks. I'm not worried about it falling apart, breaking, and being out, like hundreds of dollars and everything. So I'm not worried about that. This thing, you know, whatever can happen to it, it's fine. But for 166 bucks, it's not terrible. It's not the best Megazord by any means. But I think if you're looking for a good Megazord and you don't have the budget for the SOC version, and I don't blame you, because good lord, right? I don't even know how much it's going for at this point, but I think retail was $300 or $350. Well worth it. Well worth it because it's an awesome piece. But again, it's wobbly. You want to be careful with it. When I took these out of the way I had these in my display, I had this one behind a bunch of figures. I had that one behind a bunch of figures. I had the SOC Dragon Zord behind a bunch of figures. I picked that one up, no problem, pulled it out, didn't knock over a single figure. Picked up the Dragon Zord, didn't knock over a single figure. This goddamn thing, when I picked it up, the yellow, the right leg just kicked out and knocked over all the damn figures on the shelf. So I was super pissed about that. But this guy, if I were to do that, he wouldn't... Like his, see, look, ooh, I'm gonna drop the SOC. See how it clicked forward and almost fell? Like, I'm not gonna worry about it. Like, it doesn't, the legs don't automatically kick out nearly as much. Now, the reason why the yellow would kick out more than the blue is because the yellow is larger and does have put a little bit more weight onto it, but it's nothing all that bad. But again, if price is really going to be the issue here, I think you'll be happy with the Hasbro one. Wait for a sale, it'll be good. But if you really want the SOC, I mean, it's worth the money. I don't know that it's worth however much it might be going for now. You know, the 350 was worth it, but I think anything above that is just kind of crazy. So, you know, for a decent collector version of a Megazord, the Hasbro one definitely is good enough. But again, that's like a wait for a sale, and it'd be awesome. I'm not upset that I paid 166 bucks for it by any means. So I'm not, again, disappointed, but there are, you know, some weird things. The pterodactyl, the chest plate, you know, it stays on better, but it still can't pop off. It's super tall, like the legs are super long, and they really just don't need to be. And that's all in the saber-tooth tiger and the triceratops. Like the thigh portion from the Tyrannosaurus Rex, that's not a problem. It's just they made the bodies too long on the saber-tooth and the triceratops. But overall, still a very good Megazord. So a couple of things to note. This is the sword that actually comes with the Zord Ascension Project Megazord. This thing looks awesome. The one that came with the SOC is cool, but look at it. It had like the dull gold. Like we had a nice shiny gold on this one. So that is pretty cool. They're pretty similar. And this one's actually bigger, which, no, it's actually smaller. Sorry. The blade itself is a little bit longer, but the handle is shorter than the SOC. But I like the gold on the Hasbro one actually a lot more. But you want to be careful because that black paint of the handle of the hilt is probably going to scratch off because you have to force the sword into the hand because we don't get articulated fingers, whereas the SOC actually had articulated fingers. And look, it's leaning forward. Like, oh, I hate that it does it. The die cast is so cool, but it's so heavy. It just wants to wobble around. Look at it wobble. Like, Hasbro, that's not wobbly. So that's, I mean, that's, to me, that's a big deal. Like, I'm scared, not only because of the price that I'd be scared to break this, but because of how wobbly it is and stuff, it legit could break and just fall over. The Hasbro one, man, I am not concerned about that, like, at all. Like, I'm not concerned about it. It's really not gonna go anywhere. So there's also definitely something to think about. Okay, so I know this has probably been a super long video, and to be honest with you, kind of a difficult one space-wise and everything. So hopefully you guys kind of got a good idea for the Zord Ascension Project DINO Megazord to if you needed help on deciding if it was there. Hopefully I either helped you decide whether to get it or to not get it. 166 bucks is a lot of money. But it is a really good Megazord. So, you know, they're limited in options at this point. I don't know what the Bandai Legacy version would be going for right now. Soul, the SOC, Soul of Shogoken, whatever, however you say it. That one's hundreds and hundreds of dollars. So if you're in the market for a good Megazord, currently this new Hasbro one is definitely good enough, I would say. But again, it's not the best. That still goes to SOC. There's no arguing that SOC is by far the best Megazord that you can get, in my opinion. This one doesn't come close to the quality of that because of the die cast. But again, the positive is this thing is not flimsy, in my opinion. Now, some people are saying, oh, it's like cheap plastic. It's because it's plastic that it feels light. And obviously there has to be a lot of hollow parts to this guy for it to make sense, because things have to fold into each other or whatever. That's why it's light. It doesn't feel like it's cheap, brittle plastic or anything like that to me. I don't get that sense at all. But it's cheap as in because it's not very light. But again, look, if this thing isn't gonna fall apart. If it falls down, I'm not scared that it's gonna break. Those are some of the things that I think are important, you know, from a durability standpoint. This thing's gonna hold up. SOC, again, he tends to want to lean. He wants to wobble. So those things all play a factor. I'm actually pretty happy with this. I was hoping for better, but I'm not all that disappointed in it. I don't think it was ever going to be at the level of like SOC. Legacy, I just can't compare because I've never had it. I don't know what that's like. That, for all I know, could be an awesome Megazord and be so much better than this one. And it might be based off of price. I don't know what the value of that one is. That could be the way to go. But again, that's not one that you're going to find in stores. Well, I don't know that you'll find this in store necessarily. You're probably going to be online. But this one's going to be an easily obtainable version compared to the Legacy and the SOC version. So, you know, that may help you decide there. So, you know, it's good. It's a good articulated Megazord. It's got articulation. It's got the waist swivel. It's got the bend the knees, the swivel at the thighs. You got the elbows. Fingers are not articulated like the SOC. So again, it is a good Megazord, but you know, it's up to you on if you think the value is there for that 166 bucks. I think it's maybe a little bit high, you know, 130, 140, maybe 150, but 166, right? It's a little bit higher. We know that the prices of everything has gone up. So, you know, if the price never went up, maybe it would have been, I don't know, $140, $150. You know, it's hard to say for sure. Once the Dragon Zord comes, I think it's going to be awesome being able to put those two together, and I'm really excited for that to happen. Okay, and before I forget for the video, here are some size comparisons. So here we have the Lightning Collection Red Ranger and some of the monsters. We have Eye Guy and then Piranha's Head, which I just now opened for the very first time so I could show you guys here in the comparison. So Megazord isn't going to be able to fight any monsters at all. None of the Megazords are going to fight any of the monsters because none of them scale well with any of the monsters. Hasbro needs to figure something out with that because it's getting ridiculous. Oh, and throw in the retro VHS Megazord there that still does not scale with any of the damn monsters. We don't have anything. But anyway, that is the review of the Zord Ascension Project DINO Megazord. You guys let me know down in the comments below. What do you think of it? What do you think of this video? If you've made it this far, thank you for bearing with me as I've tried to juggle all of the Zords and the camera angles for all of this. It has been a little bit tricky for me. So I thank you guys for watching all the way through. If you guys are interested, I have set up channel membership so you can join the MCU Collective by hitting the join button. And that's it. So thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. If you guys liked the video, please do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already done so, and as always, thank you for watching.